I greet you all and hope you are all well. And I shall begin by passing the mic over to Peter.
Hello again, everybody. Right, one or two small short dreams this time. I'm going to start actually with one which I had years ago. I've often remembered it from time to time and thought, I wonder what it was all about. So it just feels at the moment this is the right time to ask about it. In this dream, I was standing in a place at a time that was very familiar to me. That is on the shores of Loch Ness. This time must have been in the 1960s or 70s. When I was actively involved in basically looking for Nessie. And in this dream I was standing there on the shore of Loch Ness, as I say, and I was standing aware of this huge airship coming up the loch. I mean in the air obviously. And as it got in front of me, or up in the air in front of me, it suddenly plunged down into the water, alarmingly disappeared under the surface, and I was standing there staring in disbelief. And then suddenly there was a huge commotion in the water, which turned my stomach somersaults. And then the nose of the airship started coming up again out of the water, and the whole thing pulled out of the water, and water all pouring off of it, and basically got back up in the air and just carried on as if nothing had happened and disappeared. And that was really the end of the dream. I say this was donkeys years ago. I can remember it so vividly. It was so alarming. I just wondered what significance, if any, it might have, because I'm blowed if I can sort of think of anything.
Kevin, what did you discuss this with your son there, Kevin? Kevin, how did you see this?
Oh, I wasn't really listening, to be honest. I was having a look at my notes. This is the first time I've heard of these dreams, so
Oh, okay. Your dad's kept secrets from you all these years.
It would seem so.
Well, that's what families are for. Well, I've had similar experiences like that too. It's very interesting, and again, so you're at Loch Ness, and what's the idea of Loch Ness? There's a monster down there, right? Well, it's not really a monster; it's just another body form, but we'll go off the saying, okay? The Loch Ness monster, and you see UFOs landing and going in there, and basically it's something in creation. In other words, you're already seeing the alien influence, and as it goes under the water, what's the idea? Something's hidden there, right? And it's like that's part of creation there. The water is part of creation. Something hidden, something lurking, something funny, strange, whatever. Okay, this is what creation is. We're in it. We're in the middle of it. We already know this. Okay, so there is the basic idea, but at the time, look at how you were viewing it then. Look at how you would view it now. And see, it's just a view, all right? And you've become more aware of what's going on here, but at the time, you were not aware of what was going on, and it was right in front of you, wasn't it? But you couldn't figure it out. Now you are figuring it out. So something very simple, and again, it's the alien influence, unknown monsters, etc. Well, again, we've all created these things ourselves. We've created creation, and we're waking up to our creations also. So that's part of it also. So even if someone else created it, we're waking up to what they created or what took place here. So basically that's it. I've in the past, I remember could be eons ago, this lifetime, I had experiences like that, and at first I look at them and I go, what is that? And as time went on, all of a sudden I started to recollect, and see how it all kind of fit in. So does that kind of wake things up a bit, Mr. Peter?
Not quite, I can't quite follow you, actually, if I'm honest.
You what?
I'm having difficulty in following you on this occasion. I can't quite follow what you're saying.
Oh, okay. I can speak Hebrew.
No, it's not. I can't understand you. I mean, I can't quite tweak the meaning of what you're saying.
Well, it's very simple. Again, you're in creation. you're standing at Loch Ness. Doesn't matter where you're standing. You're having this view, and you see this saucer. Just kind of see what makes sense of it. Okay, everything's not symbolic or whatever, but and the saucer comes down, goes underwater, and again, what's the idea of Loch Ness? There's a monster hidden there. Okay, something hidden, right? It's not necessarily a monster, but it's basically things that are hidden. Now, today, your view is that you see what's going on. These things are no longer hidden, right? And the spaceship, really, for the most part, it just got your attention. That's technology, something created, you see. So that's kind of the idea. It's an attention getter, and today, now you see from that view when you were younger to now, you know what's going on in creation, right?
Actually, I think I may have confused the issue a bit. When I said an airship, I didn't mean a flying saucer. I meant a dirigible, a thing like the...
Doesn't matter. So again, it went down or whatever. So an airship, so whatever. But it was going, there's the idea, because the Loch Ness, see, you become too literal on it, you don't get it. It's very simple. That's all. It's just very simple. Kevin, can you explain it to him? Kevin knows.
Yeah, I might talk to you a little bit about it after the show.
Right, okay, there's another one I haven't yet told Kevin, so we had more difficulties. This one, last night I dreamt this one, it's very short, but I seem to be standing in the corridor in some kind of a house. And I was confronted by a man and a woman, and they were both staring at me in absolute blind terror. One said, "It's the devil," and I was aware I was standing there with my arms in a sort of Y sort of configuration, up in the air, sort of, and touching both walls of this corridor. And I noticed my arms were all very scrawny and weird looking, almost insect-like, and with almost claws on the end hanging down. And I was also a very ghostly white colour, so abnormal sort of white colour. And I, as they said this, I suddenly felt myself thinking, I look like a medieval demon, something out of an Hieronymus Bosch painting or something. And I just found myself thinking, well, this isn't right. I'm a good person. And then the dream ended. So I don't know what that was all about.
So you saw yourself like this, Peter?
Oh, yeah.
Scary?
Well, weird.
Okay, weird. Okay, weird, scary. All right. Is there a difference? But, yeah, and these real side experiences are kind of funny because we have a lot of unconscious things that affect us that we don't realize, because everything here in creation almost is unconscious, subliminal, etc. And so we're affected by these things too. So all of a sudden we find ourselves in different areas. But then again, it's also an experience, isn't it? So just look at it as an experience. It's not that you're that or you're not that or you're a good person. See, this is what we do. We go to the personal self and how we've decided ourselves. And so realistically, it's just an experience. And I would say that either you need the experience or it's the influence playing a trick on you also, you see? And that happens all the time too. But you break it down very simply. I break them down to it's just an experience. And you decide how you see it. So all of a sudden you see something. And again, you decide how you are. Yeah. So good, bad, or indifferent, you decide how you are. But then again, there's the challenge. See, there's many sides to these experiences. There's the challenge of who you really are. So you jumped over, from what you're telling me, to I'm a good person. I'm not this. So that's the personal self, isn't it? But really, are you awareness? Are you a free being of light? So again, as you go through these experiences, you see how you're deciding from the experiences. It's not so much the experience itself, because the experience comes and goes. What's how you decide from the experience. Do you see that?
Right, okay. Thanks very much for that. I had this other dream about a couple of weeks ago, not long after our last session. It was a very short dream, but they all seem to be at the moment. But I was up on a motorway. I think you call them freeways in America. Big roads, multi-lane roads where you can't stop. And I was on this bridge crossing the motorway, and I was on the end of it, but I was hanging on to a girder, sort of sticking out sort of the underneath of the bridge. Then I hold on with two hands, and for some reason I had to cross the motorway, hanging from this bridge, hand over hand along this girder, and I was absolutely terrified. I'm not going to do this. First time I change hands, I'm going to fall. And that was really it. So I think about afterwards, I remember what you were saying about dreams I've had when I've been on window ledges and things, that I ought to be able to sort of just fly off. But unfortunately in the dream it didn't occur to me to try and do that. I was just so terrified. I thought about it afterwards, perhaps that's what I should have done. But over to you really, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, well again, this is the journey that we're all on, and you're on your own journey too, and the idea is that you're crossing the bridge, but it's scary. Okay, you're going from one position to another. All right, it's all an isness, but we objectively see this where you're going from one position to another, but you're just kind of hanging in there. So again, look at the experience, how you experienced it, and yes, in a way, it is terrifying because as you're holding on to this girder underneath the bridge, I kind of get the idea. You're going into the unknown, aren't you? And it's scary. And so that's the idea. So you're going along. In other words, you're just barely hanging on with what you're doing because it is a scary journey for most people. This is why most people don't touch this. This is why there's only a few people here, because you're really going into the unknown. And the only way the unknown is going to become known is if you go into it. And how do you do that? So, personally, you also have the personal self there. And yeah, that's the idea. You're just kind of barely hanging on. You're kind of going at your own pace. And yeah, it's frightening because you're to cross that bridge, to get to the other side, it's like, gee, what is there? Will I be okay? Will I die? Whatever. You see? Do you get the idea?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what we're doing. See, this is the isness life is. There's in creation we have confirmation. We create things, we see creations from others. So hey, life is good. It's like, oh, I see that. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I like you, or they like me, or whatever. You see, and that's fine. We start off like that, and we still have all that. But now all of a sudden we have an opportunity to see more and not be restricted by what we've created. And so that's scary because we don't know, because we're looking for agreement everywhere and it's not there. So when you're on the bridge hanging there, you're all by yourself, isn't it? It's scary. Your mother's not there. She's not saying, keep going, son, you'll be fine. No, it's all about you. You are deciding, but you're doing it. Yes, you're doing it, but yeah, it's scary. It's scary for all of us with the personal self. Yes.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that. It's just that I felt a bit sort of failed because from what you said about this being the next kind of situation, I should just sort of trust the universe or whatever and sort of leap out and sort of fly away. But didn't even occur to do it in a dream. But anyway, the last one I've got actually is another. Rather weird one, very short. I was in this garden with this woman, this old woman. I seem to have a lot of dreams about old women. I don't know if that's telling you something about my character or what, I don't know. Anyway, and she was showing me this area of her garden that she was proud of because she had grown it. It was most weird. It appeared to at first sight like a sort of an area of smallish flagstones, about 10 to 12 inches square and a bit sort of convex on the top. But apparently these were actually living things. She'd grown them. They were like, I suppose, like some kind of bit like mushrooms or something, sort of a fungal sort of a thing, but only big sort of squares, and they're all packed together in nice neat rows. It looked just like a concrete sort of an area, but in fact it was a living thing apparently. She told me she'd grown them, and that was really the end of the dream. I just thought it was all rather strange. I felt as if I'd put my foot on when I would gone through it, sort of thing.
Maybe it's your next date. Well, in other words, you were having this experience. You see, it's, many times where, again, there's not always that there's a meaning to it. Sometimes you're having an experience, or you're meeting somebody, or somebody. And, just like that, you're walking through the flower garden, she's showing you this or whatever. Sometimes it's just that. Just kind of look at it, and, the interesting thing is, as we have these experiences, even if we don't understand what's going on or who that is, eventually it will show up. Maybe 100 years, who knows? But we're all over the place in our real awareness, and there's a part of us that's deciding things that the personal self, too, doesn't know. This also becomes the difference, you see? So when I have experiences myself, because I meet people all the time in the real side or anywhere, I don't know who they are all the time. I'm not really concerned, but I kind of look at the situation. I don't know names and places and whatever. Again, we categorize these things, but really life's an experience. It's like if you were like Peter Pan and just flying through the sky and whatever, you're going to see birds and all kinds of things, and you're not going to know who they are, but you're going to see them. And on the real side, it happens like that too, you see. And so you've also got free time on the real side. In other words, it's not that the guides or life is showing you something all the time. You have free time. You're doing things, or you're exploring or whatever. So kind of look at it like that. But again, you're in another area where the personal self that lives here, when you come back here, it doesn't quite understand what's going on. So whether you realize something from it or not, that's your decision how you're going to figure that out too, you see?
Right, okay. Well, I'm not so sure about the next date, but it's lucky Gwen's not here today. But that's me finished for tonight. Or I guess it's afternoon we are. But thanks very much once again.
I haven't really had many. I just had one last night. It was strange. It was just I was with like some sultan, like Arab prince, and it was showing me around where he lived, and it was all dead rich and just really nice, beautiful, and that, and all the architecture was how you imagine it in Aladdin. I haven't seen Aladdin, but that's what I think about when I and that was it basically. But it was showing me all around his kingdom, and I was looking out the windows and all that, beautiful, and all the roofs were gold and blue. And we come back in, and it was showing me somewhere else. He pulled the curtain back, and but that was it. That's how it ended. It kind of it wasn't really. I don't know if it was a demonstration of something or what I was supposed to see, but I think what I was supposed to see, I woke up before, and that's all that's happened basically. Kevin, yeah, I don't know, but it was that's the only dream I've had that I can remember since my last ones, and I don't know, because of the significance of the colours and that. I mean, I don't know if it was a guide and what it was showing me or anything, but that's all I've had. Yeah, Kevin, I don't know if you want to continue, mate, with your stuff, or if anyone wants to chip in, but yeah, that's all that's happened to me. That dream last night, strange. It was showing showing me something, but it was just like his kingdom and his quarters where he lived, and how nice it was and all that, and it was beautiful, and that's all I got from it really. I mean, he pulled the curtain back, and like I was about to see something, but then I didn't. I woke up. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, that's it, Kevin, mate. Yeah, I ain't got anything else. If you want to continue, mate.
Well, I don't know if Dwayne would like to comment on that. I'll give him the opportunity to do so.
That was just what he said it was, Kevin. He was shown something, and that was it. He was taking the tour. They have tours in UK, don't they? They have tours on the real side, too.
Yeah, it was like the middle. It was like say, like Arabia, like the big palaces and all that. It was like that. That's all it was. It was just showing me. I mean, I didn't get. I don't know. Trying to think what it was showing me because, you know, it was just how beautiful it was and that, and that's it.
Well, it's like anything, young man. It's very simple. In other words, again, when when you were a child with your parents and they took you around to places, all you did is just kind of look and see them, right? It wasn't about figuring them out, and once in a while they'd say, oh, we're here, we're there. But, again, overall with life, we're all just basically sightseers. It's all about seeing, and it's waking up to, what else there is besides just being self-restricted. So this is the best part. Again, if something's confusing to you, use the sun as a comparison. It's very simple, isn't it? Just simply shines and sees everything. And that's really what you're doing. Yeah, and the personal self takes it and tries to make description out of it all the time. Well, sometimes we do that to relate to others. Okay, we have conversations, whatever, but not always. Sometimes you're just being there. Sometimes you're just standing on the shore watching the ocean. That's it. Same thing. So you're kind of given the tour. See?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Dwayne. Thanks very much. All right. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for the opportunity.